Hello, fam. Welcome back to another episode of Holistic Health is Hot. I'm hyped to get into this episode today because I think a lot of us have fallen into the same trap of this soft girl era. So today I'm going to give you 5 tips to become a disciplined girlie. Welcome to Holistic Health is Hot, where your journey to sculpting your dream body meets holistic health. I'm your host, Ashley Roberts. Here, we're going to chat about mindset hacks that have completely transformed my life and dive deep into nutrition and movement that will help transform yours. We're going to get into the intense connection between mind, body, and soul so you can glow from the inside out. Let's get into it. And remember, holistic health is hot. I think for a long time, honestly, I really was fighting myself with this because for a period of time, probably when I was auditioning for pro dance teams post-college, I was like so intense. I was on my shit with everything. And I think I got a little scared of being disciplined because I was just overwhelmed and like really burnt myself out. And, you know, you see all this stuff online now, like listen to your body, which again, you know me, I want you to listen to your body. But I think there comes this time of like, when are you making up excuses? When are you listening to your body? And like I said, this whole soft girl era of not showing up for yourself is just not the vibe. It's good to listen to your body. It's good to honor your body, but it's also important to be real with yourself. So, you know, why do you want to be disciplined? Discipline builds confidence. When you are keeping every single promise to yourself and you show up for yourself, you are going to be so fucking confident. I thought a lot about when I was my most confident self. And truthfully, it wasn't even when I made it as a professional dancer. It was the training beforehand. I took my nutrition so seriously, a little too seriously. But besides the point, I was killing it on my nutrition. I was showing up for myself in the gym, sometimes multiple times a day. Again, this is an extreme level, and I'm not saying you need to do that. I actually really don't want you to do that. But I am saying that I was so fucking confident because I had built up so much trust with myself that I can do anything I want because I show up for myself. I do the things that I say I'm going to do. And I don't make excuses. I don't beat around the bush. I don't use, listening to my body as an excuse. And yeah, so I was thinking back to that era of training for a pro dance Ash. And that's what I did. I was so confident, again, not because I wasn't even on a pro dance team yet. I was really just proud of myself for showing up for myself, making progress, telling myself I'm going to do something and then just doing it. And that's why you need discipline. And I think so many of us have this negative, I don't even know, like energy around discipline because we think it has to be like, wake up at 5 a.m., go to the gym, like do all these things. And that's not what discipline really means. I think to me, discipline is just keeping the promises to yourself. If you say you're going to go to the gym, you go to the gym. If you say you're going to cook a healthy meal, you cook a healthy meal. It's less about the action you're taking and more about you doing what you say you're going to do. Truthfully, how many of you have told yourself, oh, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to do this. And you probably do it too intensely, like, in a yo-yo dieting type of way where you're so intense with things. You're like, okay, I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week. I'm going to eat super clean, no carbs. And then after a week, you don't stick with it. You're losing trust with yourself when you do that. So anyways, discipline is important for a lot of reasons, but I encourage you to look at how you perceive it because it doesn't have to be like this black and white robotic thing. It really is just about keeping the promises you tell yourself you're going to do. So let's get into a couple tips to really help you with discipline. First, kind of like I said, so often you put too much on your plate and you end up not being able to keep the promises to yourself because it's too intense. So number 1 is start small. Don't overdo it at first. If you set your expectations too high and then you let yourself down, just exactly like I said in that example, you're losing trust with yourself because a lot of times when we say we're going to do something and then we don't do it, you're like, oh, like I can never, you don't believe that you can do other things. But if you are showing up every single day in the gym and showing up when you say you're going to cook a healthy meal and you do it, you just have that trust with yourself that you can do anything. So an example of this is, let's just say you're starting on your health and fitness journey and, you're like, oh, like I really want to start having a step goal for myself. Instead of going, okay, I'm going to hit 12K steps a day. And you're starting off at like 2K. Instead, start somewhere at like 5K. And maybe you only do it 4 days a week. So you build that trust with yourself that you can show up. Because if you are telling yourself, I'm going to do 10K steps every single day, and then you don't, what happens? You just fall off the wagon, quote unquote. You just end up falling off. And instead of trying to overdo it and starting so big and trying to do everything at once, start small so you can slowly build the trust with yourself. And you can keep taking these notes, almost like keeping a piggy bank. This is an example I used with one of my clients. Keeping a piggy bank of every time you do show up for yourself, so then you can use that as evidence to prove to yourself that you can do the things that you say you're going to do. This example I used with my client, which will kind of tie into my number 2 tip, which is changing your language. She was nervous about Mother's Day because there was going to be a lot of appetizers, and she has in the past like binged and just overfilled her body and just felt super uncomfortable and super guilty about the food that she ate. And she told me, she was like, I'm really nervous. I have a lot of anxiety about this. And I told her, I said, if you are telling yourself that you're anxious and you're going to mess up and you're going to binge and you're going to not listen to your hunger and fullness cues, that's what's going to happen. You need to change your language to help support what you want, not what you don't want. Example, tell yourself, I'm going to fucking kick ass. I'm going to go show up to Mother's Day and I am going to eat super healthy and balanced, going with a game plan. But tell yourself you can do it, because if you tell yourself you can't do it, I can't do it, it's going to be hard, it's going to be hard, it's going to be hard. You all know I am obsessed with the mindset side of things because your mind decides how you show up in the world. So change your language. Be firm in what you're saying. Because if you say, oh yeah, I'm going to try to work out 3 days a week. If you can't even say it in your mind, you think you're going to actually take action to show up and be disciplined in the real world? Absolutely not. You're already giving yourself an out when you say, oh yeah, I'm going to try this. I had a client the other day, she kind of said the same thing. I'm going to try to hit my step goal every day. I'm like, you're going to try? And I just explained to her that even these little tiny shifts, I know I feel sometimes I'm like, I'm annoying that like that little word, try, is what's holding you back. But it's so true. If you tell yourself in your mind, I'm going to hit my step goal, you're going to be so much more likely to actually show up, be disciplined, and do it than if you're like, yeah, I'm going to try. And this isn't about being hard on yourself if you don't, or if something comes up, or you get sick, or you start your period and you're in pain because of cramps or whatever. It's not about, punishing yourself if you don't show up, but it's about changing your language to give yourself the best odds and the best control of your own mind and control of your actions. So again, change your language, even the small shifts. And I know sometimes it's really hard to see on your own the language. I don't even know what I said. I was talking with one of my business mentors, a past business mentor, and I said, oh, I'm not good at managing my money. And then he said, well, yeah, because you're telling yourself you're not. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like a small shift of like, I'm being like a past version of me was maybe not the best at managing my money, but I decide that I'm good at managing my money now. And if that doesn't resonate, okay, I'm working towards getting better at managing my money or something like that. Same with your health and fitness goals. So often you tell yourself you can't do things. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's like, no shit, it's not working because you're telling yourself it's not going to work. You need to shift your language. And even if it's a small little thing like try, that matters. Your subconscious mind is always listening, and you need to tell yourself with force that you're going to show up for yourself, the intensity to be disciplined. Okay. So number 3 is evaluate your goals and your core values, and do they match? This is something that I've been talking a lot about with my clients on my social media because I think it's really important. I think so often we have core values and we have goals. And maybe your goal is you want to get in the best shape of your life. You want 6-pack abs. You are dying to like be so skinny and you want to get there so fast, as fast as possible. But then your core values you look at and maybe it's like your core values balance, time with friends. And I use this as an example because let's just say it's Friday. You didn't schedule your workout in until Friday. You're like, okay, like I know I didn't do it, but I'm going to get it done on Friday. I have to do this. And then one of your best friends is like, oh my gosh, we're going to happy hour to celebrate my friend's birthday, or maybe it's just a happy hour for funsies. If your core value is balance and time with friends, what do you think you're going to do? Are you going to go to the gym or are you going to go hang out with your friends? You're going to go hang out with your friends. No questions asked, because that's valuable to you. That time is so valuable to you. And it's not to say you can't get 6-pack abs and you can't be balanced to get there, but it's all about being realistic with the timeline you want, the action you're actually willing to take to get there. And so in order to be disciplined, again, it kind of comes back to that trust of, one, being realistic with yourself. I hate that word, but I think it makes sense in this context of being realistic in the sense of what you're actually willing to do to get there. Because if you are like, oh, I'm all in, I'm disciplined, like, my goals right now and feeling good are coming above my social life. When you value that, you're going to say, sorry guys, I can't make it. I've got plans. And the plans is you going to the gym. Okay? And I know that might be extreme, but it's all about weighing your core values and your goals and the intensity that you actually want to get there. Because that's how you build the discipline in. You can be disciplined by going to the gym 2 days a week. You can be disciplined by going to the gym 1 day a week. But it's about, again, showing up and doing the things you say you're going to do. And that comes with having goals, having a strong why you want to reach your goals, and then having a plan that matches the intensity that you're willing to go. And just because your core values right now are balance and time with friends, there are seasons of life. But if you are like gung-ho on, I want to reach my goals, no ifs, ands, or buts, you're going to have different core values. And your values dictate how you make decisions. And it's not to say you can't learn and change core values. And, I have a client who she really values time with friends and, being with her family and being there with friends. And she's still making progress, but you only have so much time and capacity and energy in a week. If her friend needs her for some reason, she's going to go do that over a workout. And again, there's no right or wrong way. It's really just about being realistic with yourself of your core values, so then you can show up and build that trust with yourself. And you don't have this wishy-washy double person in you that's like trying to be one person, but also trying to be another person. This just really helps solidify how you're going to show up in the world. And again, you can be balanced and have time with friends and get to your dream body, but it's just the rate at which you're willing to get there. And you can learn core values, and there's seasons of life. There's no right or wrong way, but it's about figuring out what works for you. And that's why in Vitality, I am so adamant about figuring out a plan that's going to work with you and your lifestyle, which means there's different levels. I have different avenues, different paths of how quickly you want to get to your goal based on what you're willing to do, based on your core values. What's up, guys? I hope you're loving this episode. I wanted to take a quick second to offer you something special for podcast listeners only. If you're someone who is a high achiever or craving discipline and transformation, you're ready to lose weight and leave old habits behind like food guilt, constant bloat, and body negativity, ready to embrace a new identity and become absolutely obsessed with your body in your life for life, then listen up. Vitality is my one-to-one coaching program where you will get in the best shape of your life for life. You will feel absolute food freedom and feel proud of your food choices, aka no more food guilt. You will feel energized, motivated, and excited to wake up every single morning to do your cute little morning routine. You will feel sexy AF in a bathing suit all year round and have the confidence to sprint to the front of every single photo. Your routines and workouts will light you up and you will radiate confidence and magnetism in every aspect of your life. If you're ready to get in the best shape of your life for life, then DM me the word Vitality on Instagram and we can chat about getting started. I'm so excited to work with you. Okay, back to the episode. So now number 4 is change your identity to become a disciplined girly. Okay. If you don't think you're disciplined, you're not. I mean, this kind of goes down to, changing your language, but also build a new identity of a disciplined person. Even I'll tell you, when I was very disciplined, obviously in high school, you do a million sports and dance and all the things. Then I went to college. I was not disciplined. I partied and told myself I'd go to the gym, never did. Told myself I would eat healthy, never did. Or I did until I didn't. And then I would tell myself I wasn't going to binge eat that night after drinking. Always did. And so I wasn't a disciplined person in college. But then I decided, oh shit, I want to audition for pro dance teams. I can't look like this. I can't not be a disciplined person. There literally is no other option. So guess what? I became a disciplined person by changing my identity, by telling myself, okay, what's a pro dancer do on a day-to-day basis? She's not drinking with her friends on the weekend. She's not skipping the gym. She's not skipping dance practice. So I created an identity and I stepped into that. And so, you can't create this super balanced lifestyle of this kind of girl and then expect yourself to show up every single day. It's so important to build the kind of identity that you want. And again, being disciplined doesn't mean working out 5 days a week, eating every single meal healthy. You can be balanced and still be disciplined. You can value time with friends and still be disciplined, but it's about being realistic and really mapping out what disciplined looks like to you and being realistic with yourself. Because again, there is this push-pull when you are trying to say you're going to work out 5 days a week, but you really value time with friends. Okay? And again, if you're working out Monday through Friday and then you get asked to do something on Friday and you're going to go with your friends, and that's okay, but it's about figuring out a game plan and an identity that is your type of disciplined girly. And it looks different to everyone. My discipline is different than your disciplined. Okay? So the last tip to becoming a disciplined girly is stop taking action based on short-term gratification and start taking action based on your long-term goals. Sometimes you got to do things you don't want to do. That's all there is to it. Sometimes you have to do the things that you don't want to do, even if you're not feeling it in that moment. You need to think about the future version of you, the long-term vision that you have. Because so easily we can be like, oh, I feel tired. I should go to the gym, but I feel tired. Do you? Is it your brain telling you that like, ooh, the couch sounds more comfy. Ooh, TV, like your favorite episode on. Yeah, that's going to happen. But you have to use the power of your mind to say, nope, I'm going to work towards this future version of me. I'm going to decide otherwise. I'm going to be disciplined and show up for myself right now, even if it's maybe not what I want to do. And sometimes that's what it takes. And again, but if you think that it's going to be miserable, and it's like, oh, I need to show up for myself. Yeah, it's going to be miserable. But if you're like, no, I'm doing this because I want to feel fucking amazing. I want to be the best version of me, for the people around me. So I'm going to show up and I'm going to do the things that I say I'm going to do. And guess what? You're going to be so fucking confident. So confident. It's not about the action that you're taking. It's about showing up for yourself. And that all comes from being disciplined. And yeah, again, sometimes these things don't sound super fun in the moment. And that's okay. That happens. You just have to sometimes suck it up and do it. Sometimes I feel like, there is this, again, push-pull of listening to your body, but also knowing and being real with yourself of when you're using that as an excuse. There are times like, last week, my allergies were so bad. There's part of me, I wanted to push through and do a cardio session, go to the gym, but I was like, my brain fog is off the charts. My body is so sore from this week. I'm going to honor my body. I didn't feel like I was not being disciplined because I actually was listening to my body and knew that it needed rest. And rest is what was going to propel me forward. And so, yes, we want to try always to keep the promises to ourselves, but listen to our bodies at the same time. Have fun at the same time. I think we look at discipline in a negative way, like I said, and if we can look at discipline as honoring our bodies, caring and nourishing for our bodies, that kind of gives it a little bit different of a vibe, you know what I mean? But at the same time, sometimes you have to suck it up and do it. I think I'm a disciplined person because I embody the identity of who I want to be, and I just do it. I don't make excuses. I don't beat around the bush. I just do it. And I know it comes because I know that it comes from me being powerful mentally. I have so much control over my mind, but that's because I practiced. I've told myself and I've gotten the evidence. I know what discipline does for me. I know how it feels to be disciplined in a good way. And the energy is unmatched. You feel so powerful. You feel so confident. And yeah, sometimes there's things that I don't want to do, but I suck it up and do it anyways. And I always feel even more powerful after. When you push through at a time when you don't want to do something and you show up for yourself anyways, you're like, holy shit, I'm so powerful. I can do anything I want. And it just trickles out into every area of your life. So this is your sign. Rethink and reimagine what discipline means to you. And just to recap, okay? You want to start small so you can build that trust with yourself. You want to change your language so you're talking to yourself as a disciplined girlie, being sure of what you are saying. And again, this all comes from practice. I didn't one day wake up and was like, I'm going to be disciplined. It's like I told myself over and over and over again who I wanted to be, and I wanted to be disciplined because I know how it feels to be disciplined. Number 3 is like evaluating your goals and your core values, making sure that they're in alignment. No right or wrong way. It's just about figuring out what works for you. Number 4, changing your identity to a disciplined person. Number 5, taking action from your future self, not a short-term version of yourself in that instant gratification. Think of your future self. Who do you want to be? We all have goals. And the quicker that you can take action from your future self, the quicker you will be there. The quicker you take action from your future self and are disciplined in that, the quicker you will be here. All right, guys, that wraps up this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about discipline, DM me on Instagram because I love to chat about this, okay? My DMs are always open and I'd love to chat. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one.